What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest channel. And this is an impromptu podcast style reaction to the official statement on the verdict from Tasha K on her channel, Unwind with Tasha K. And I watched it a couple of times last night. One, because I watched her official response, and then two, I watched a few people that I'm subscribed to who actually went over it and replayed it. And I wanted to share my thoughts, and I really couldn't wait until I could record an episode. So I had a little bit of time, got a break in my schedule. So I just thought maybe I'll just get on Spreaker and I will just talk about it, share my thoughts. So I'm just going to give a breakdown on this statement, which was not very long. It was a little over 12 minutes. At the time that I'm recording this, over 350,000 people have watched it. So it definitely went viral. Of course it would. I mean, why wouldn't it? Because this has been in the news for the past couple of weeks. And this has been one of the biggest stories this week, is this verdict, this judgment, which, I mean, I have my thoughts on that, but let's just talk about it. Now, first and foremost, when she stepped out, it was clear, even though she didn't want to seem like she was shaken, you could tell, I mean, I could tell at least, that this is heavy. This is really heavy on her. She couldn't come out and be her regular self, where she's pretty loud and over the top. Like she was, I could tell, in my opinion, I should say, it seemed like she was trying to hold back tears. And not all the time when you want to cry or you feel like crying, it's because you're sad. It's because you're just full and you need to release. And you could tell that she has been through some stuff. This is real heavy. This is real heavy on her. So her holding back for a moment before she could start speaking, for her, I felt like, wow, this humanizes her a little bit. And it's a little bit ironic to me because she's wearing all white. And if you all are familiar with the scandal that happened with Portia Williams, Simon Guobadia, and Fallon Pina, who used to be Fallon Guobadia, who was married to Simon, she did an interview with Adam from the channel Up and Adam, and she wore all white. And Tasha K spoke to Adam about that interview, and she was very critical. She was very critical of Fallon, and she made mention of Fallon wearing all white and saying, oh, she's trying to look innocent. So it's just kind of funny to me that Tasha's wearing all white. Look, I'm not saying that there's any relation to that, but it's just kind of ironic when you judge people. Sometimes you have to be very careful about the judgment. And the Bible even talks about that. The judgment that you put out, that same measure, usually would be met to you and you don't even realize it. So I just kind of found that ironic. So I just thought I would mention that, like she's wearing all white. And then she goes into saying that the judgment was no shock to her or her legal team. Now, that's really not surprising, but then that goes back to why even go through with this when you really knew that you didn't really have a snowball's chance in hell of winning. And so it is crazy to go through all of these years and all of this money for legal fees when you already knew what the outcome is going to be. I often say that the only people who really win in these situations are the attorneys, and more specifically, when they're not representing themselves, which is usually not the case, is the plaintiff's attorney, because the plaintiff's attorney, they got paid. Listen, Cardi's attorneys, they have already been paid. And that's how crooked the legal system is. They can already get their fees and still ask for the legal fees in this lawsuit. And then if they win, they get more legal fees. So it's not, they're not representing They didn't represent Cardi like a car accident case where it says no fees unless you collect. Those accident ambulance chasers attorneys, they only do that because they know that they're not going to take your case on unless there is the chance of a settlement, or if it goes to trial, they know that they're going to be able to win in your favor. So they already know that they're going to get paid. So that's the reason why they don't collect fees and attorney fees and things like and expenses up front. They get their 33 and a third percent or 40% or whatever their percentages are that is legal in the state that they're representing you in. So Cardi's attorneys, they won. And because Tasha K was represented by an attorney, even though she seemed to be a loser based on the things that have been revealed, she won because she got paid, period.
All right, so she continues to go on and she's talking about she did not bend to the machine that wanted to silence her against the glorification of prostitution and reckless behavior and whatnot in the industry. And that reeks, where she said Rex, but she meant to say reeks because she was reading a statement that somebody wrote for her, havoc on our society. Listen, I agree with that industry because I don't listen to Cardi B's music. Do I hate the woman? No, because one, I don't know her. I don't hate anyone. Do I care for her imagery or her music? I don't. I don't care for that type of music. I just don't. So is she saying some true statements about the industry? Absolutely. But where it involves her case, it is a moot point because Cardi B sued her because of things that she said about Cardi B in terms of her having a disease that is transmitted sexually that's incurable and some other things that she said. Tasha K, although I don't dislike her either, she's not an activist that is out here, raging against the machine of the music industry that makes women be seen as sexual objects, and the rap industry that glorifies, women being sexual objects, and the music that they, put out here that everything has a parental advisory sticker on it. No, she's not. She's not. She said her platform creates news and sheds light on the things that are going on in our society. I'm just going to leave that there. You can read into those lines, with that. But when she says her platform creates news, it sort of gives credence to what people say about her making up stories. And it's been alleged. I'm not in the court. I wasn't there. I don't have a court transcript in front of me to read from the court reporter who typed everything up. But some people have said that she had said on the stand that she makes up stories, and it's been said that she said that on a live video before, of which I think I heard someone else play at one point. But it's that line that is like, I don't know who wrote this up for you, but I don't know if you really should have said that. So she goes on to say that this lawsuit isn't about the money, and it never was about the money. It was about this machine wanting to shut her down so she couldn't continue to shed light on what they're doing in the industry. I don't know. It just doesn't make sense. Listen, the things that she's saying, if it were not coming from Tasha K, I could honestly say I agree. But because it is coming from Tasha K and it is related to this lawsuit, the two just don't correlate. They don't go together. I'm not here to see this woman be destroyed. And I've seen a lot of videos. I've seen a lot of video titles, and I've seen a lot of comments where there are some people that just are like, finish her, like destroy her. I don't want to see her, anymore, take her channel away and all those different things like that. I was hopeful that from this statement, it was going to be a maybe come to Jesus moment where she's like, you know what, that is finished. It's done. It's behind me. This is a new day. I'm moving forward from it. I pray that you all who have been with me on this journey will continue to move forward with me. And then those who want to, who want to leave, then it was nice knowing you. It was fun while it lasted. Sayonara. But with this statement, it just does not correlate, and it's hard. It makes it hard for people, I believe, who want to be on Tasha's team, who have sensibility and are not just ride or die just because she is who she is. I'm going to continue to support her no matter what. It makes it hard for people who have rationale and who really have a mind that thinks on both sides to make this make sense. Like they say, make it make sense. It just doesn't make sense coming from her. All right, now she's talking about her First Amendment rights. We, as U.S. citizens, we do not have the right to speak lies. And clearly, the reason she lost this case, yes, because she had a plaintiff who was suing her that had more means, access, finances, favor, all of those things. It does help. It really does help in the legal system, whether it's civil or criminal. But it is also not easy to win a defamation/libel lawsuit. And she made it easy. She made it easy for this chick to win because she said that she had an incurable STD. And she didn't. It was proven in court that she did not. It wasn't just about, her music being terrible, or she wears trashy outfits, or her plastic surgery looks off, or just her husband is ugly, or I think he's sleeping around on her. It wasn't just opinions. It was things that she said were real that were not, and could have been damaging. One, let's speak about the judgment, and then we're going to go back into this statement that she made. A lot of people out here freaking out over the millions of dollars in this judgment. And yeah, to hear that, it is absolutely insane. But here's the thing people need to understand and remember. Civil lawsuits and litigation, they can reap a financial judgment, but it does not mean that the plaintiff is going to be able to collect. There are so many uncollectible judgments, and people continue to move on with their lives. It stays on their credit report for 7 to 10 years, no matter the amount. It could be $500. It could be $500 million. If the person does not have the means to collect, the law is not going to allow somebody to get kicked out of their home and all of these different things and not be able to live because they had a civil lawsuit against them. To be honest with you, sometimes it's better for people to not file bankruptcy and just allow the judgment to sit there and not pay it, and then it'll just get sold off to a collection agency, and the collection agency, they'll just try to get what they can. And yeah, the collection agency, they may try to sue you for that amount that you owe to, but if the money cannot be collected, it is uncollectible. And I'm not saying Tasha K is broke, but Tasha K, as much money as she makes, let's just be clear, her money is not long like Cardi B's money, period. And so this almost $4 million judgment, I believe, is uncollectible. Do I know what's in her bank accounts? No, I don't. Do I know her family status and if she has, access to rich family members or whatever who can help her? No, I don't. But facing that type of lawsuit, that's like I can say of a surety, my businesses, I have made millions over the years collectively. Do I have millions in the bank? I don't. I've had high payroll, high business expenses, my living, taxes, all of those different things. So even though my business has made millions, it does not mean that I have millions in the bank. So Tasha K making a lot of money and having a house and those different types of things does not mean that the judgment is collectible. She could choose to set up payment arrangements. And like I said in my previous episode where I was just talking about the actual outcome of the case, the judgment can be reduced by the court. Just because the jury awarded that amount does not mean that that is what she is going to indeed have to have as the final outcome. But there are people out here that are really celebrating it, and that does dishearten me. It shocks me that, it's come to this, because I really felt like it should have just been settled out of court, because there's just some things that are not winnable, and she was in a position where she was not set up to be able to win. Because one, it wasn't true, and two, she was going against a plaintiff that had the means and the access, the finances, the favor that Tasha K didn't have. And the amount that the jury awarded was as high as it was because she did not come across as likable to the jury. The jury could have found her liable and still been favorable to her in the amounts. They could have said, you know what? Listen, she made a mistake. She came in remorseful. She apologized. They could have definitely been more lax and favorable to her in the judgment, but they didn't like her. They did not like her, and they felt like it was a waste of the time. Most people do not enjoy being on a jury. So to have their time taken away from their family, career that they may enjoy, to get paid $6 a day to be on a jury, some people are going to be pissed at that, and they're just like, you know what, guilty, liable. What's the max amount that we can, award on this, on that, on the other? So to be honest, I feel like the jury awarded the amounts that they awarded because they did not see Tasha K as likable, just like a lot of other people don't see her as likable, and that's why they went for the jugular when it comes to the award that was offered. But again, I just believe that at the end of it all, Cardi, one, she doesn't need the money, and two, I don't believe that she's going to be like 50 Cent going after Tierra Marie, where he's like almost every other week online saying this girl needs to pay me my money, and he's going back to the court pressing to try to get access to this and that and the other because he wants $30,000 that he does not need. I don't believe that Cardi B is that petty. I mean, she can be definitely one of those people that's like, don't talk about me, keep my name out of your mouth or whatever, when she doesn't feel like people are saying things that are favorable to her. But I don't see her being petty in that way. The attorneys that were representing her, they may be that petty, and not so much for the full award, but for their attorney's fees that they don't even need because they've already been paid. What they have been rewarded has been excess because they can do that. And that's what they chose to do. And most plaintiffs' attorneys definitely do. Don't ask me how I know. But they do. Well, I mean, honestly, like I said, if you all are new to this channel, I've said this before. I was a legal assistant for over 12 years. So I know how it works. And that's what a lot of them do. It is icing on top of the cake. They don't need it. It's just extra. And if they can get it, then they will definitely pursue it. And then if they win, then they can definitely continue to press to collect on it. Oh my. So she goes into talking about how you all may think that this is over, but no, this is just the beginning. All I could hear was Harpo from The Color Purple, or whoever it was. I think it was Lawrence Fishburne who played that part when Miss Sophia was about to knock out that white man, and Lawrence Fishburne, he's like, no, Miss Sophia. No, Miss Sophia, don't do it. Because it's like, leave it alone. Just like let well enough alone. Like, leave it. We know that you feel that you were wronged. Some people may agree with you. I may understand how you're feeling. You're definitely emotional. You're pissed off, or, and all of those other emotions. But it is very expensive to operate in your emotions. I have said this so many times, and it ain't easy. Because especially as women, say it's a stereotype, but it's just the truth. Because God made men and women differently. Women are more emotional, and men are more rational. That's not saying that one is smarter than the other. I'm not saying that. I'm just talking about the way our mannerisms are and how we were made and how we operate. That's one of the reasons why, if you go back to the story of Adam and Eve, the serpent went up to Eve. The serpent didn't go up to Adam and say, well, God didn't say you can't eat of this tree. He went up to Eve because the women were made to be more emotional. So we sit and we think about stuff like that. It's like, maybe God didn't say that. Let me go ahead and eat this apple. And, and you may say, oh, that's stupid. That sounds silly or whatever. But I'm just being honest. I feel that even though she may display more masculine tendencies, and I'm not talking about her looks, so that's not what I mean, but I'm just talking about in the strength and the force of how she operates and moves. She, at the end of it all, she is still a woman, and she is, I believe, operating in her emotions, and emotional decisions can be expensive decisions. I just don't think this is the move. I just feel that it is not wise to try to keep moving forward in this. I think it is time to just say, you know what, this is what has happened. I just want to move on from this. But she's standing 10 toes down in it. And I'm like, oh no, why? But yeah. Okay, she says that she intends to move forward and appeal and fight this to the end because they have proof that there was no invasion of privacy. There was no suicidal thoughts. I don't know. Here's the thing when it comes to that. That's the reason why I said in my previous conversation was that Cardi is a machine. And I said that before she did this statement, so I had no I had no idea that she was going to say that, but but that is real. I'm not saying I agree with what she's saying, but in terms of everything, Cardi B versus Tasha K, yeah, she is a machine because she's got an entire industry backing her that have a vested interest in their investment profiting and being profitable. So it is in their best interest for her to win. So yeah, they're going to supply her with the best of expert witnesses for her counsel to be able to use, even if she never had one appointment with the psychiatrist. Let's just be honest. It does, just because the expert witness said that I saw her for these many appointments and it is clear to me that she displayed suicidal tendencies based on these things, that's their job to say that. Am I saying that Cardi B is lying? No, but what I am saying is that being someone who was in the legal system, I know the game. It's how it works. They don't always tell the truth. They're going to defend their client or the attorney who hires the expert witness. They're being paid $500 an hour, $1,000 an hour. I've cut checks for expert witnesses in medical malpractice cases where, their fee was $1,500 an hour to testify in court, and they're going to earn that money. So they're not going to get on the stand and testify against the side that hired them. So, so I'm just saying all that to say it could very well be true that Cardi B didn't really have suicidal thoughts and tendencies based on what Tasha K said, but it's just like being in an accident. Like if someone was in a car accident and the injuries may not have been that bad, but the more injuries that they can say were inflicted, the more money the insurance company is going to have to pay out. So let's just be honest about that. So she could be right about that, but can it be proven? Probably not, because if she couldn't prove it in court this time, even if she didn't have the right counsel, it may be hard to prove next time. And it's sad to say it, but I just think that this is just an uphill battle that isn't worth going at. Well, Tasha K, she goes on to talk about how if she is only supplying fake news, why does the federal government subpoena her channel for documentation and evidence for for things that they're investigating. I have said that she hasn't completely lied about every single thing. I definitely have said that, but I believe she's missing the point. In this situation, you were not on trial. She was not on trial, because I'm not speaking directly to her. She was not on trial because her entire channel is nothing but lies. 100%. She was on trial because Cardi B took her to court and sued her based on the allegations regarding saying that she had an incurable STD and, a few other things. It was strictly about Cardi B. It wasn't about Cardi B taking her to court because all she does is spew lies about every single person and every single thing that she says. So yeah, there are people out here that are generalizing it and saying, yeah, all she does is lie or whatever. Of course, but that's not what she was on trial for. So when she says that, it's like you're really getting off of the topic. She did go on to expose there have been some GoFundMes that have been opened up that she and her husband, her company has nothing to do with. But you know how that goes. People will try to scam a dime whenever they see the opportunity to. But you could tell at the end when she was signing off, she did her official now I gotta go bye thing. You could tell that she wanted to smile, but she couldn't. She's really, really heavy. I am surprised that she made a statement as soon as she did. But people all over are dragging her for this. Now, I can't even lie. When a friend and I, we were text messaging each other last night when this happened, and when we were listening to it, because I was just trying to be funny, make light of the situation. I was like, okay, like, is this Martin Luther Queen right now? Because it just did not correlate. It was like she was trying to sound like an activist based off of this litigation, which I believe, in my opinion, don't have anything to do with each other. I am not saying that somebody cannot switch up their, the way that they handle their business. If you were, people are flying, in sin all the time. And then one day they wake up and say, you know what, I want to live for the Lord and I'm going to go and be with God and that's it. And I'm cutting off everything else. People do that stuff all the time. So I'm not saying people can't change, but when you are trying to relate what you are currently doing and recently have done with something that's on the opposite side of the coin, it just doesn't make sense. And I just thought that it just wasn't relating in my view. And that's what I thought before I saw anyone else's commentary, before I saw anybody else's comments in somebody else's comment section. I'm basing this based off of what I heard and what I listened to. And so it was almost like the people who, oh my gosh, and not trying to insult anybody, because some people just voted for Trump based on their economics and their, the whatever. But there are these diehard Trump supporters that still believe that he won the election. And to this day, they're still saying the election was stolen. It just doesn't make sense. The dude lost. And so you can be unhappy about that. You can say that, you don't feel that Biden should have won and you don't want him to be the president. But I just don't feel that you can say that the election was stolen, because there's just been so much evidence out there to prove it. And these election companies are suing some people for billions of dollars because they have put these claims out here that this company had the machines rigged and all of these different things. And it's clearly lies. So I just don't understand who wrote this statement for her. I don't believe that this was the right move. Yeah, make a statement, but make the statement make sense. The statement just did not relate with what happened in the court. I just believe that it was a bit too much. And in my viewpoint, based on the judgment, yeah, there are people out here that are doing backflips saying she deserves it. She should lose her channel, and her husband is probably going to leave her and all this. I don't wish any harm on the woman. I don't wish any harm on Cardi B. I don't wish any harm on anybody in the situation. It is my hope and prayer that people can just grow from this and move forward. It doesn't sound like she's growing from it at the moment. At the moment, it doesn't sound like she's growing from it. And also, it just seems to me that it would just be worth it for her to say, you know what, I'm done with this. I'm not speaking about this anymore. I'm moving forward. And those who will respect it, and those who don't can reject it. But she is in a position right now, I feel that it can be up from here, not only up from here, it could be downwards. By her making a statement like this and saying that they plan to appeal and taking it to the Supreme Court, which they ain't going to listen to this case. But anyway, taking it to the Supreme Court if need be, I feel is a downward trajectory for her. She really should just leave this and move on. Because in my opinion, I just believe that the amount awarded is an uncollectible judgment. She's not going to go to jail if she does not pay this judgment. It doesn't work that way in civil litigation. Go out here and see all these judgments that people have that have not been able to be collected on. People live, they move on, they may have to duck and dodge a little bit and do some things differently, set up some different business entities and you know what I mean, put some things in another family member's name or whatever for the time being. I mean, people do stuff like that all the time. You can live through it. Listen, as long as the woman is alive, she is not 6 feet under, there's no headstone at her head. She's not in a casket. She's not in an urn. She's living. She's breathing. Every day is a new opportunity, but we have to make the decision to make this new day worth it. And I just don't think it's worth it to continue to dwell on this. I think it can cause her health issues. It looked extremely hard and heavy on her. She looked stressed out. Even to me, it looked like she may have lost a couple of pounds. That's just what it looked like to me, honestly. So I feel that she is making a mistake by making a statement like this, but what is said has been said, and that's it. But we'll see where this goes. We'll see where this goes. The statement was pretty ad heavy, so her channel is still monetized, that's for sure. And you know, it looked like she had 999,000 subscribers versus 1 million. So she's lost a few people. That was to be expected. But it happens. You lose some, you win some, but you live to see another day. So hopefully she'll just use this as an opportunity to win later and just let the loss go. But we shall see. I'm not celebrating the loss. I'm just sharing my thoughts on the statement that was given, and I would really love to know what you guys think about this. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section. And so until next time, as always, I'm just being beautifully honest. So go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe, and I will see you the next time.